Hi. All right. I thought I would just record a quick video to go over the library sound plan and take a look at some things that aren't just quite what we were looking for in the first place. So I'm going to put my screen here, and I would note first and foremost that it looks great. It's a nicely done job and everything is really clear and looks wonderful. So we have on a mount up here that 4K laser projector. It looks very nice. And it, of course, it shines its light like that onto the screen. Yay. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to note was that we have sound coming out of the projector, which is great. I'm glad for that. So on the projector, there is a 1/8 inch audio jack, and we have a cable coming out of that. But right now, it looks as though that is being wired directly into the speakers. So it comes up here, and it splits into two. So I'm assuming that's RCA cable, because that's what we had originally asked for. Though if it is, set up to be TRS or XLR, that's just fine too. But currently that's going straight to the speakers. I'm assuming actually the wiring is done down there, but I don't have control of it at the board, and that's not quite what we were looking for. We were looking to have that come across the ceiling and come down through the conduit, as it does. And in coming down the conduit, as it does, we were looking to have it in a plate on the wall. And having it in a plate on the wall would then mean that we could output it to our board and mix it as we like. So it would be nice to have here RCA jacks. But again, if that was two XLRs or two TRSs, that's fine too, from the projector. So that would be request number one, is to get that routed so that we have it there. Because once we have it here, so once we're in a position where we have RCA jacks here, and again, if that's TRS or if that's XLR, that's fine. That way we can take that and put it into our mixing board, and we can mix the audio as we like it. We just want to be able to know that if there's something playing on the computer, we can control how that mixes with a speaker or with a band we have playing or whatever. So I hope that makes some kind of sense. So that's request one, and I think that the wiring's already there, so it's really just a matter of installing a plate. At least I'm assuming looking at it. The other thing that comes to mind is that we'd asked for an on-off switch for the speaker to power the speakers, and I think we were unclear in our request there. So it would be nice, certainly, what we're looking for is just the ability to power off the speakers without having to reach up to the speakers. It would be nice to have a switch here, if that's at all possible. And again, there's a switch for the audio to the speakers, but I think that was a miscommunication on our part, because what we're looking for was really a power switch for the speakers. And in a perfect world, one would control both, because really there's not much use in having, in having to go to both sides but in a worst case scenario, if we had to have one on each side, that is still preferable to having no ability to power the speakers on or off without actually going up and reaching in and turning them off, or having to go to the panel and turn the switch on and off. So yeah, and again, it may make more sense to put that audio jack here, sort of in line with the other stuff, and if that makes more sense, that's totally cool too. You know, whatever works, whatever's easiest for wiring, because obviously that's there. So we could say the projector output could go here, and that would be fine. As long as it's somewhere, as long as I can wire it into my board, then that is good. This brings up the next issue, which is that one of these two plates, and I'm not sure which, because I'm not in the building right now, but one of the two plates is falling into the device box when just a bit of pressure is, HDMI jack is falling into box. When pressed, and even just a little pressure is enough to make that happen. You know, sort of just gently inserting the HDMI cable was causing it to do that, which is suboptimal. And then the third issue I'm seeing here is that I'm assuming these are the kill switches, which is fine, though it is really, this is worth noting that we don't really need these. So the RCA or whatever from the projector could go here. Because again, when we said we wanted a kill switch for the speakers, we meant the power to the speakers, not the signal to the speakers, which we can control with the board. Now, having said that, if you prefer to just leave that alone and leave those there, and it's easier just to put a separate device box in to put RCA jacks from the board, that's fine. But that spot would certainly be an appropriate spot for it. But what is an issue is that I am assuming, I haven't had a chance to test them yet because I don't have the sound from the board, but I'm assuming that these go to the speakers. And if that's correct, if these are going to the speakers, then we have a problem because they're the wrong polarity. We have two male jacks here, and we really need two female jacks. So these should be because if I go to the back of my board, and I have a photo I can add here. If I go to the back of my board, sorry, I'm just adding it here, and it's taking a moment. No, that's not the one, that's the one. Give that a moment to update. If I go to the back of my board, you'll see that the audio outputs from a typical soundboard are female, and so it is a problem when you try to run they're male rather, just like these. So these two jacks should be female, and those two jacks being female will allow me to run a cable here, because you can see these are male. The outputs are male, so the inputs need to be female. And that way we can connect them with an XLR cord. And again, because they are male, I wasn't able to test those and confirm that they are in fact doing what I think they're doing. but what they should be doing is running up to the speakers, and it looks like that's how they're wired. So if they're wired, we just need to get those plates split out so that they are female, so that I can run a male to female XLR cable from the output of our board to the input of there. I hope that makes sense. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.